Hey, welcome to the Wholesaling Secrets podcast here. My name is Jesse. I am the host, and I've got a special guest, Mitzi. She comes from a background of flipping mobile home parks and mobile homes, and she talks about her strategy and her story. But I think, although that was the original plan, we do talk about that. We spent a lot on mindset, and it was really refreshing. Certain things I've heard before that were phrased differently, and I think you will find this episode very refreshing. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode here with Mitzi. All right, we got our special guest here, Mitzi. How are you doing, Mitzi?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Help us understand your real estate journey. How did you get started?
Oh, so I actually started reading the newspaper at 10 years old. I started reading the real estate section. Tried buying my first house at 16, was laughed out of there, was told I had to wait till I was 18. I tried again at 18, then I was told I needed credit, and then I did it again at 19, and I was able to buy my first house. Um, So I actually developed a double wide, a 5 bedroom, 3 bath on a half acre of land at 19. And yeah, so then I bought a foreclosure 3 years later, rehabbed that. Then I moved into it and then started renting out my double wide. And then I moved out of that other house, started renting that, it went out. So I was becoming a landlord and a flipper before anything else, but it was almost kind of like by accident. I always wanted to be in real estate though. So, oh, sorry, I have a kitten and she is attacking me at the same time. And so I did it part time the whole time until about 9 years ago. And then I read the book Think and Grow Rich Again. And when I read that book, I was like, why am I just doing this part time? At the time, I had been a financial advisor, worked in finance for 10 years, was a compliance officer, had seen a lot of investments. And I was like, why am I not going into real estate? And because like even in 2007 when I was an advisor, I moved everybody over to Brazil Natural Resources because I knew the United States was going down, and I've always been somebody who can see things ahead of time, and I was like, I could be really good at this. And so I went ahead within 23 days of making my first decision of being in real estate full time. I made my first $50,000. And then I did it again and I made over six figures my first 6 months. And I was like, oh yeah, this is working out pretty good. And then I did like another huge deal that people have asked me about, but I did a little over $400,000 on another deal about a year and a half into the business. So I was just doing one thing after the other. And I really liked it. And then now I'm in mobile homes. 2.5 years ago, I switched when I saw the markets changing and developed a business of providing affordable housing for people with mobile homes.
So I want to talk about mobile homes, but I want to come back to a little bit about your early story there. You jumped into real estate at 16 already, or you wanted to.
Right.
Uh, did you did you always have a sense of like what made you want to get into real estate?
You know, I think the obstacle is the path. And a lot of times when we go through difficult times, we make it ourselves a victim and make it like, oh, life is hard for me. Well, because of my hardships, I wanted a home. And so it made me at 10 years old be reading. Now, I had a family and everything. I just didn't like my family, but I had, so at 10 years old, I was just trying to move out, and then that never changed. But
Okay, so you're driven from personal motivation there
yeah,
to get out of the house. That's really interesting. You got into finance, and I think like I guess a flick in the switch one day where you thought, hey, why am I not getting into real estate? Was there some sort of mental barrier that was holding you back? Was it because you didn't know what real estate was about? Was it because you thought it's messier than it is? Like what was like laying there, you think, that sort of built this invisible wall for you to approach, and until you really sat down and thought about, hey, why am I not doing this?
I actually teach mindset now because of this, but it was my mindset. I just didn't know anymore. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know any real estate investors. That seemed like people, somebody else. It seemed like a different world that I wasn't allowed to be a part of. In a way, it's like a mindset that I developed that mindset, because of people that were around me as a child and all that stuff. But I'm an adult now, so I'm responsible for the mindset I keep. So I had to like really look at it and be like, why am I not doing this? Like, and it was just kind of like I can. So how about I try? And so I did. And then it was just like not even thinking about even being able to do it full time.
I mean, clearly you had a good run at the start, and
Yeah.
you continue to do so. Uh, what do you sort of attribute that other than going ahead and doing it? I mean, was there certain skill sets that you had? Was it being a landlord? What sort of compiled together that you were able to have a good, early good run there?
I'm so glad that you asked that, because some people think that they can just reproduce that. And it's like there's so much behind the scenes there. Um, During the whole time I've been cultivating skills, like people skills, interpersonal skills, communication, sales. I was part of a cold calling team, and I was top three in sales for the Wall Street Journal. I sold the Wall Street Journal over the phone, and so that was hard. You think getting sellers to sell their house is hard? Try selling Wall Street Journal to people who can't afford the journal. Okay, and then talk to me. And so I did that, and then it was just a combination of everything I did along the way. Because I was broke growing up, I started at 9 years old. I started selling gum on the bus and candy on the bus to make extra money. So I was, and it was just little things that I would find to flip. And then I started flipping furniture. Then I started flipping cars, and so it was just going up. And if you told me I could flip a car, I would have been like, no way. I had to start with candy first to get through those mindset barriers that I had and what I could do. So it was just, it was actually survival that taught me a lot of the skills that I had. And then, and I had to make money whenever I was younger, a little more than just average pay because I was pregnant. So I was like, I did the sales so I could make extra money. And so it was a lot of skills like that I came to be able to do that.
Wow. Um, it's just been a whole journey of I, I don't want to use the word deal making, but I mean, you've been in that position where you're front facing. I mean, then that begs the question, like, do we have to go through something like that in order to get to a place like where you're at?
I don't think so. But I say that I do teach mindset. So we all start off with like in a shadow in a way with our challenges. It's like if you start the video game, you're told, in the beginning of the video game, you get to read about the challenges, you get to know about your avatar. I kind of feel like we have this avatar. You learn about yourself, know what you enjoy, know who you are, what makes you happy, what's your joy, what's your purpose, and with clarity that helps you. But I think that uh, I'm going all over the place. But I think we all start out with some kind of obstacle. No matter how great our childhood was, no matter what, there's always some obstacle for us. And like I said, the obstacle is the path. Like instead of always trying to avoid the obstacle and staying where you are, go over it. It's like a playground, and you didn't realize that this whole time everything's a playground, and you're taking it way too freaking seriously. And behind that obstacle is the little purple diamond that you need to get to the next level of what you want. And right now, where you are, you don't have what you want because you haven't developed the character enough to get to that level. So whenever you realize that, or when I started realizing that about myself, that every obstacle that's shown to me is actually presented for me to develop that next character trait that I asked for. I asked to have this thing, and without me having this trait, I can't have that thing. So I can't even open up the door. I don't have the key. So I realized that I had to develop the character traits, the keys to open up the doors to get where I want to go. And so I think it's just like just understanding that we all have that, and all of our lives, I think, and all of us are amazing people. and we're meant to be some kind of contribution to the world or to somebody. And when you live in your purpose and you don't avoid your obstacles, when you go through the obstacles and not look at it like, poor me, this sucks, this happened to me, because it's not happening to you, it's happening for you and through you. You allow it and be like, hey. And when I have problems now, and I get problems, but when I get problems now, well, when I they're always around, I kind of look at it like, oh, I'm being leveled up again. Okay, cool. How can I best handle this challenge? Because I want all the rewards and all the traits that I'm supposed to be gathering in this challenge. So I'm going to figure out how I can be my best self and conquer this challenge. Like I'm going to conquer Bowser.
I love. I don't know how much of a gamer you are, but I am a bit of a gamer.
Yeah.
But I loved how you gamified a lot of things that you were just talking about, and talking about challenges as a way to, I mean, literally level up. You know, it's so funny. Yeah, they don't. Problems will always be there, no matter where you are in life. I just thought about that recently. The other thing I've thought about recently, and I will get to mobile homes. I do want to talk about that, but I do enjoy this quite a bit.
Mhm.
You mentioned something really interesting. I think people taking things too seriously.
Yeah.
Um, what does that look like for you when you took things too seriously, and then
Okay.
how did you handle that? How did Mitzi handle taking things seriously? And I'm sure everybody's going to handle it differently, but I'm interested to understand that side of you.
I used to think life was so serious. I don't anymore. I think it's a journey, and I'm on it, and I get to choose. And this choice is beautiful, and I have this power behind my choice. But so so say that again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
Yeah, no, I just want to get your take on seriousness, like taking
Oh,
things
okay.
seriously, and how do you handle it?
Yeah. So like, let's say, um, I don't know, like time blocking and getting to work. Getting up and knowing you got bills to pay and being like, man, I got to pay all these bills. I got to do this. I got to do this flip. I got to do this. And you're thinking of the things that you got to do, maybe even waking up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning because you got that cortisol spike because you're stressed out. No matter what you're lying and telling everybody else about, that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock cortisol strike will tell you that you are stressed out. And some people, they just stay up at that time saying that they're the early risers. I know you guys. I know what's really happening. And so like they want a time block and they want to be like, I got to do this. I got to do this. That mindset. I gotta instead of I get to wake up, and I woke up, and look, it's a beautiful day. Now I get to play this game. I'm main character. Get up in GTA 5. I'm not worrying about paying my bills, and I don't think we're supposed to be worrying about paying our bills. We're told not to worry. And we're supposed to be everything that we are authentically. And when we're authentic, I feel like there's just a vortex of energy around you. Just people are attracted to you, money's attracted to you, everything's attracted to you. And you know what's crazy? You don't even have to have a normal job. You're just yourself. And for some reason, the opportunities attract to you. So I think it's like us having to realize that instead of getting up and worrying about all that, change your mindset and be like, I get to wake up, get to take the breath, I get to stretch, I get to make these calls. But you know what? I also listen to inspired action. So what I call that is like the ideas that come to us. So you have your thoughts. Your thoughts are just recycled garbage. They've gotten you as far as they've gotten you, and you can see where you are. So your thoughts aren't going to get you much further without an idea sprinkled in there. So what I do is I stay receptive. I meditate. I pay attention to everything around me, always knowing that there's opportunities all around me. But I also study the reticular activating system. So I know kind of how the brain works and how that stuff works. But going back to all this, sorry. I I got up, I was going to pull, this is an example of the day. I got up and I was going to pull like county clerk, and I was going to pull all these deeds of trust to find private lenders, skip trace them, start calling them. That's a lot of work. Okay, so let's start doing all that, and I was like, I got this like idea or this message: go to a coffee shop. I don't like coffee. So I'm like, I'm not going to a coffee shop. So I still am doing this, and I'm like, and then it's like, go to a coffee shop, and I'm like, I'm going to go got a clerk in my room, and then I got the message again, coffee shop, or it just kept on coffee shop, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm getting this message, and then I stopped, and this was about the time that I was learning all this stuff, and I was like, or I had been studying it for 15 years, but it just really started clicking, and I was like, who are you arguing with, Mitzi? This is an idea. You're getting the inspired action. You're don't argue with it, go with it. And I was like, all right. So either I'm schizophrenic or I'm going with inspired action. I don't know. Let's do this. And so I went to the closest coffee shop because I don't drink coffee, so I didn't know where to go. And I looked it up, went there, didn't know I was there, just sat down, started writing on my book, Get Your Shit Together. And so like I'm writing on that, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden behind me, this guy goes, yeah, I'm here to meet all my clients and we want to put them in real estate. And he was a financial advisor, and I could hear him talking, and he's talking to a commercial broker, and they're like, yeah, we just need to find one of those people that find real estate for investors. You know, those people, I don't know what they call them. I'm like, okay, I know I'm here now. I'm looking for money, and these guys just have it right there. And so I was like, okay. And then I didn't feel like it was the time to talk to them just yet. So I didn't say anything right then and there. And then they started talking about Facebook, and they're like, yeah, nobody wants to be real on Facebook. And I didn't even have to ask, should I talk to them? I just turned around. I was like, not me. I say what I want to on Facebook. And they just like high fived me and was like, what's your name? They're like, thank God there's other people that'll like actually speak their mind and not worry about what other people have to say. Think about it. And then they were like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I find real estate for investors. Like their exact words. And they were like, can you sit on these meetings with us? We're meeting people back to back, and they've got a few $1,000,000 each. And I was like, of course I can. So all day long, they're buying my food, they're buying all my stuff. We're talking about all these different projects. He's bringing in people with money, and I'm having a good time. I'm having fun. Or I could have just gone with my thoughts and just went and searched county clerk and then cold called people all day long, and probably not gotten as far as I did in that meeting. So that's the difference between like going down the path and enjoying yourself and inspired action, and taking life too seriously, thinking that you know how it needs to be done, when it needs to be done. When people are so set on controlling their environment, has to be this way at this time by these people. Like I feel bad for them because they're in their own prison that they created themselves, and they want to act like that's reality when it's just a prison you created. And it's like the more you try to control the world around you, the more you create your own prison. And it's whenever you let that stuff go and understand there's an allowing, there's a presence, there's a surrender, and that there's something bigger than you that knows better than you. And if you could just take that inspired action and have faith, which comes from certainty, not hope. People say they lose faith. I'm like, you lost hope. Okay. And so when you go to a path with certainty and confidence and all that, then all the distractions, everything go out, but you can find those inspired actions that come along the way. And you know what? We get a lot further talking to people in person than usually on the phone. We get out and we do talk to that person at the gas station when you feel the inspired actions to say hi. Say hi. You don't know where that's going to lead you. It's probably going to lead you to the next thing you were looking for, because I really believe we're always being guided. And because I believe that, I don't mind taking the guidance. And I used to fight it. I totally believe in it now. And can I tell you one more story? It'll be quick. So I do believe our thoughts are super powerful. And I've learned that you can't hold on to anything and need it, and come from a place of lack and get it. Because energy is like a boomerang. So what energy I throw something out in is what I'm going to get back. So if I'm doing my work and I'm working hard, but I'm working in a place of lack, desperation, need, guess what I'm going to get back? Lack, desperation, need. And I'm going to be like, but why I'm working so hard? Why is this not working? Well, how many people do you know who literally work really hard that make a lot of money? And you're doing it wrong. So like, they get other people to work hard for them. But yeah, but they do it fun. So what I check my energy in anything that I do. Before I do something, I check my energy. Am I doing it in integrity? Am I doing it because I want the best? Or am I doing it out of a need or a lack, or hoping that if I do this, somebody will do something for me? Because in any of those other energies, you come from a place of force and trying to control, and you actually don't get into that high enough vibration to get the things that you want. You're not even in that location. You're like not even the same book. And so, like, I just try to keep my energy high, and sometimes I just have to go outside, step on some grass, meditate or listen to a song that I like and get back to it, or play with my daughter, whatever it is, to up my vibes again. And then I'm going to go back into doing my work. But I don't force work anymore. If my energy's not right, I'm not going to do it. I don't get, I know some people are like, F your feelings, do it anyways. Nope. I'm not going to work hard and send out the wrong energy, because I know it comes back to me. And so I think that's really important. And so when I do things now, I don't do it from a place of lack and desperation. And another example and this was the example I was getting to, it can be very simple stuff that you want. Like, I went and I ordered a pork sandwich. I wanted ribs after I got the pork sandwich, tried the pork sandwich. It wasn't very good. And I was like, I wanted ribs. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this pork sandwich. I have it. I'm going to make the most of it. This is what I have in the present moment. And I let go of the ribs immediately. This guy taps on my shoulder, has a plate of ribs. And I was like, and he goes, I'm sorry, this is so weird. I don't normally do this and I don't know why, but when I picked up my ribs, I didn't want it anymore. And I felt like I should give them to you. He said, that's my family over there, has his kids and his wife waving. He goes, I've never done this before. I know it's weird. And I was like, you don't have to keep explaining. It's perfectly fine. I will take them. I really appreciate it. He goes, okay, I know it's so weird. I'm so sorry. I've never done this before. I'm like, that is okay. And so he puts it down. And I was like, he was there to deliver my ribs. And so but it was because I wasn't upset about not having my pork sandwich. I still was going to make the most of it. And because I kept myself in that space, the energy was like, you know what? Here's your ribs too. Yeah. So I feel like that's how life is. So you got to enjoy the moments so you can open yourself for the rest of more enjoyable moments.
All right. If you need to get more deals done, you want to streamline your business, you want to streamline the team, have everybody rowing in the same direction, and keeping things simple at the same time. That's really what we're about here at Pebble. If you are looking for a platform to centralize all the properties you're dealing with, your marketing, your communication, your follow-up, your automations, look no further than Pebble REI. Head over to pebblerei.com today, set up a free account, or jump on a free call with us. We'll be glad to demo you through Pebble. Again, that's pebblerei.com. Anyways, enjoy the rest of this episode here with Mitzi. I love that. I feel like I was meant to have this conversation with you as you're kind of going on with, and there's certainly things that are happening behind the scenes that, wow, Mitzi is, yeah. I mean, there's a lot that I can relate to what you're mentioning there, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that are listening as well. I love that word. I've never actually heard it. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but inspired action. I really like that, and I think I get a gist of what that means now. One last question amongst all this stuff, sort of this mindset, because I mean, I don't get to talk a lot about this stuff on the podcast, so I love it.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you was, how did this all happen? Because you came from a place of survival. And is it because you got overstretched here and now you realize the other side, you're swinging back the other way, and you sort of see that range? Or, how did Mitzi become Mitzi like this?
I think we have our extremes. So I did start off as a victim. I did start off complaining. I was actually tired of my own crap. At 20 years old, I saw a book that said, shut up, stop whining, and get a life. And I was like, it's talking to me. And I bought the book because I knew I'd been whining and blaming everything around me for why it wasn't where I wanted it to be. So that's the moment I started taking self accountability. And then, of course, with self accountability, you got to make boundaries. But without clarity, boundaries probably aren't the best thing to make yet. But so I started making boundaries, didn't know how to make those. So then I was like, everybody's narcissists and they hate boundaries. That is not the case for anyone who's thinking that, by the way. You're doing it wrong. But I had to learn where I was doing things wrong, because the world will come back at you and say, nope, you didn't get it right this time. If the world is still coming back at you in a negative way, you still didn't get it right yet. And that's okay. It's just a sign. It's just showing you your thoughts aren't in the right space. Your mind, your emotions aren't. But I went from reading all these books, counseling, all this stuff, and then I went to the extreme of like super spiritual Reiki teacher, all this inner energy stuff, psychedelic retreats, all this stuff. And so I was, and then finally I came back to the middle again and realized that you have to integrate the shadow, the light, the energy, the metaphysical, the physical. Everything's a duality in this world. So I had to learn all of that. Like I'm physical, but my soul is metaphysical. I'm physical, but I'm also energy. And it's like, understanding that. And so then now I'm here where I'm like, I feel like I see things in a different way than I originally did, going on this path. Oh, I know I do. And how things really make sense, why you have to have boundaries, why you have to understand, um, you know, uh, how powerful you are, not give that away by blaming and complaining, because that's what we do when we do that. We give our own power away.
Well, I mean, figuring that out at 20, amazing. I didn't figure out that I sort of also lived a victim mentality for a while, but I won't get into myself. And by the way, Mitzi, thanks so much for being open to share some of these things, about your personal life. We really appreciate that. I'm sure somebody listening here will be very appreciative of that. Um,
Thank you.
okay, so today, mobile homes. What are you doing in the world of mobile homes?
Yeah, so I'm providing affordable housing for people and double digit returns for investors. So
And
what?
break that down for us.
Yeah.
How, and yeah.
So I bought a mobile home park about 2 years, 2.5 years ago. I realized the interest rates, taxes, housing prices, all this stuff was going up. Affordable housing is going to be needed. So I started looking at mobile homes, was flipping them, putting them on land, doing that. But among the way, I found that mobile homes in parks, people, they were just leads people were getting rid of. Nobody knew what to do with them, and they were cheap. And I'm like, why is this not working out? This doesn't make any sense. And so I bought one, owner financed it out to somebody, and I was like, what? Because what I did is I got it for $4,500, put 1,500 into it, sold it for like double the amount that I got it for, got the down payment that paid me back for everything, and then I created a note for $575 for the next 10 years.
Wait a minute. So you bought a mobile home park and you turned around and flipped it rather than holding it yourself. Is
No,
that right?
I still have that one. Sorry, I interjected that before I should have. So these are homes that were in parks, and so then I bought my own mobile home park, and it had a few mobile homes already on it. So I started renting to owner finance those, and was creating notes for myself on top of getting my lot rent. And then I was like, I need to put more mobile homes in my mobile home park. And so I was like, how can I do that with getting influxes of cash without having to spend my own? Because I've been bad about spending my own money and I need to quit doing that. So I was like, how do I do this? And so I created a new way of doing it. And but first I did it with another mobile home that was in another park. I found it. And I was actually going to owner finance it because I could collect the down and then have me a note for $500-600 a month. And my friend was hearing me doing it, and she goes, "Can I buy that from you?" And I was like, "Well, I got it for 5, but I would sell it to you for 15. Would that be okay with you? Because I at least got to still make my money out of it. Because I could make more money holding on to this mobile home than selling it to you." And she goes, "Yeah, that's fine. If you can just sell it to me, that's fine." And she goes, "I want that note money." And I was like, "Okay, let me think about this." And so then I started creating notes on mobile homes. I would find them for like 15, find an investor that would give me 30 for it for a 45K note at 12% interest, which gives them like 19% return on investment. And so I create a note, sell it at a discount, and I get these mobile homes. And then I find the buyer, the notes between me and the investor. So then I find the buyer, I control it all. I make sure everybody's paid, everything's taken care of. The buyer's in there is paying me too. And I started doing that in my mobile home park so I could get my mobile homes filled up too. And so that's something I started creating, but it created an affordable housing for people. And that's what I was wanting to do too, was really the affordable housing. So what I was doing was finding these homes, making them good again, and then owner financing for like 5K down and mortgage that was less than rents. And then they could buy these things and have them paid off within 7 to 12 years. And I'm like, these are people like I was that single mom, in a mobile home. I know. And I would have given anything. At one time, I went through a foreclosure. I would have given anything for somebody to give me another chance to get into a home at 3 to 5K down, even if it was a mobile home, because I was living in not the best apartments with the bad credit and a foreclosure. I could tell you that because most people won't take you. And so I was just like, I was looking for anything like that, and I couldn't buy another house. So I was just thinking about who I was as a younger mother. And so I created this for them and for elderly, for anyone who would like to buy a home in a community with a pool and a park, like kids can play. And then these investors are getting higher returns than normal. And they are only having to put 25 to 45K into each one of these. And that's it. And they're making like usually 16 to 24% on that. And if I'm not supposed to be saying this on this podcast, I am not I've been a financial advisor. I'm not currently a financial advisor. I'm not giving anybody any, any tips on anything. I'm just saying how I run my business. And so I set it up where I started networking with investors and been finding owner finance buyers and creating a business from that, which is way better than wholesaling and flipping, because no matter how much people say they can make a business out of it, you're always having to be a part of the business. With this one, I don't have to be. I can actually, it's an actual business.
How are you finding your buyers? Is that just through networking nowadays? And how are you finding your sellers then?
Sellers are simple because nobody knows what to do with these leads. I talk to lead generation companies, tell them what I'm doing. I talk to other wholesalers, tell them, send me all your leads that are mobile home parks that you don't want. That gives me enough leads. I've not had to pay for any leads. And I tell people I move mobile homes off land for free. I don't do that. The buyer does that. But I get these mobile homes for free. I got one for free. I made $42,000 off of it, just finding another buyer to move off the land. And so this is like a niche that most people have a stigma around, that think this is a bad thing, but I make pretty good money off each mobile home. I make about 20 to 25K, and you're talking about a crappy mobile home. And then I've made 6-figure flips on mobile home flips. This stuff, there's money in it. And because people are willing to just throw it away, you don't even have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for the marketing. And with the buyers, I have a website where they can fill it out, but it's sharing it all over Facebook and different things. I have a team that's been putting it out there looking for the buyers, but really there's so many people who need this that it's just getting it out there so they know where to find us.
And this is and tell us about your team. Is this just yourself? And I mean, what does that look like right now for your own business?
I did just let go of my assistant, but it would be me and my assistant would be more like my operations kind of person. And then got a dispo team. I've got 5 on that right now. I'm about to bulk up again. So if anybody wants to work on my team, let me know. I am looking for full time, but bulk up again and lean back out. And then right now I'm the only acquisitions person, but I'm really good at it. So I usually have about 20, 25 deals a month that I bring in. So I don't really, at this moment, need more acquisitions because I've developed so many people that even my students bring me deals, my people that have known me, all kinds of stuff. So I have plenty of that come in. And then am a nerd and I do still enjoy this. So I'll just play around on Facebook, just making people lowball offers like it's a video game. Seeing who will say yes to it.
Oh, that's so funny. And here you hear it. One of the best ways to learn is to work with somebody or work under somebody. So there you go. Dispo. What does, like? I mean, you have a dispo team. Why do you need a team for that? What does that look like on a day to day? Help us understand a picture of that.
Yeah, so they're the ones like listing our properties on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. They're the ones reaching out to the buyers, following up with them, reaching out to lenders, reaching out to other wholesalers, reaching out to agents, reaching out to mobile home dealerships. They're doing all the outreach for me and developing those relationships.
Do you get involved with Dispo anymore then?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The thing is like when you've gotten to where I'm at, I'm really good at what I do. So it hardly takes me the same amount of time it takes I can run laps around entire teams, but just me. And so like I do it just, because I still have fun doing it, but and I still make more deals happen than my entire team just with me just having fun doing it. But hopefully that'll change. But I don't know. But yeah, so but um the dispo team is more about also finding lenders too. And it's the dispo, so it's how to exit out of the deal. So if they can find the private lenders, the buyers, whatever it is. Mhm.
Um, you know, as you mentioned, you're running laps around your entire team. You're in this whole mobile space, mobile home space. What is the most challenging thing, maybe operationally, or yeah, when it comes to this sort of whole mobile home park side of things?
I think just finding the right people can be sometimes the most difficult. I think once you find the right people and have them in the right places, things can do really well. And in this business, it tends to attract a lot of people who want to get rich quick, and are wanting to do the work. So that's the only downfall I find in this business is people wanting to feel like through osmosis they're going to make deals happen because they're around you, not through their own work.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
If someone, speaking of inspired action, if somebody's listening to this, they want to get their first deal done in a similar fashion, or in the mobile home space, or they want to just find their footing. What would you say is the first practical step they can start taking action on right away?
If they wanted to get into the mobile home space, start going to Facebook Marketplace, making half price offers. Just start off with that, being okay with making half price offers or really low ball offers.
So you're looking for other mobile homes, and you're just going to make an offer for half the price that
Yep.
they're listing it for.
Yeah. Look for ones that have bad pictures, where you can go back in, take better pictures, maybe even move some stuff out of the pictures so it takes a better picture, and do better marketing and relist it. And you can actually, that's how I got started in the mobile homes, was doing just that. And then just relisting it with better pictures and better marketing and making more money off of
I love that.
it.
Um, yeah, it's very similar to what we do also in with other assets too, whether it's homes or land itself. Sometimes there's no picture for land. But anyways, so you're working in this space. Is there what's in the foreseeable future? Are you exploring different areas? Are you experimenting? What does it look like now that sort of keeps you interested? Maybe you are interested already, but is there anything that you're kind of growing into or trying out?
Well, of course, getting this business flowing, it's doing. I like it. It is flowing, but flowing to the point I want it to be. And then I'm also looking into buying like land and doing retreat centers, or buying the retreat centers that are like in Costa Rica, Belize, and that kind of stuff. Because I do the mindset stuff too, so I can't like deny that side of myself. So I'm a yoga teacher, Reiki teacher. I'm all these other things too, breathwork teacher. Yeah, I teach meditation. I teach all this stuff. So like, and because when I want to learn something, I don't just learn it, I become the teacher. And so when you teach, you really learn it. But yeah, so I actually want to do the whole, I'm writing a book called Get Your Shit Together, and another one called How to Become Lucky, Ancient.
You were serious about the book? I
Yeah,
thought
yeah, no, that's really, and my class is called Get Your Shit Together. And also How to Become Lucky, because it's like, it's ancient secrets we all should know is the subtitle, but it's about understanding how everything works. So luck isn't seeming like it's a draw or something, and only certain people are allowed to have it. It's people who know how to play the game that are lucky. And so I want to teach people that, and then also bring them back to a regulated kind of nervous system, because here in America we are so dysregulated and so stressed out, and we live like that, like it's normal, and it's not. And it's and we actually, I feel like if people could just have some centering and some grounding for a moment and just stop all the rat race, they would be surprised at all the inspired action that comes to them.
um Mitzi, I brought you on here for one thing, and I feel like it's completely turned into something else that I'm really happy about to chat with you. Okay, all this stuff that you're doing, you're in real estate, you're also in coaching and in the mental framework side of things. And how can people learn a little bit more you, and how can other people be a maybe service to you or engage with you?
So you can check out my Facebook, Mitzi Diane. I think has a number one. It has me with shorter hair. There are two. My longer haired one was a hacked one. I did get it back though, so now I have two. Um, and I also am. You can email me Mitzi Diane at gmail.com. It's MITZIDYANE at gmail.com. And then check out my website, swiftsellproperties.com. There's a phone number on there if you'd like to call it, reach out. And so that's how you can reach out to me. And on my Facebook, you can message me if you're interested in my mentorship or my classes that are coming up. Just message me and let me know. I'm going to put that back in my bio so people can fill out that application.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to include this in the show notes. Do you work with a lot of people that are getting started in real estate investing?
Yes, I do. I help teach the beginners, but I do qualify you. I have to make sure that you have the right mindset to be successful. I'm not going to take you on and take your money if I don't think that you can do it yet.
Right, right. Mitzi, thank you so much for coming on to share not only what you do in the real estate investing side of things, a really creative way that you go about it, and it seems to be something related to inspired action that took you on that path. I've certainly learned a lot chatting with you here today. Again, we'll leave the information in the show notes. Mitzi, thanks very much for coming on the show here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.